Hey YouTube, Weiss Schwarz 97 here, coming at you with a deck profile on Shana. It's the 8-gate version. I only recently got this deck, like I've had it for 5 days, and I've played with it like 2 or 3 times, and not really against many things, so haven't had much testing, but just letting you guys know before we get into the deck profile that there are like a couple things in this deck I would change, but I bought this deck on eBay, and it came as is, so yeah, I'm profiling what I have. There's not many things I disagree with, but there's just some things I may consider changing or just may want to in general. But yeah, I'll get into the deck profile, and I'll have to actually explain the cards because they're not in English, so yep. 4 of this Shana. Let me check the camera for you guys. Okay, that's fine. So yeah, this Shana is the beat stick of the deck. She's 3/5. However, if she's played when you don't control a flame character, she sends herself to waiting room. That's her downside. It's a pretty big downside in my opinion compared to, or in the early game at least, compared to something that like checks top carded deck, and if it's not so character, it puts it in clock. In early game, this downside I think is a little stronger than, like it's a bit heftier than all the others, but late game this one is less risky to play, I guess, which it doesn't really mean much, but yeah, this is the beat stick of the level 0 lineup, but its effect is also comboed off with this UG. It's a clock bond for the Shana. I like clock bonds specifically at level 0 because if your opponent like summons like 2 characters, they swing with one, put you at 0/5, then they won't swing with the other usually, and just to not put you level 1, and you can kind of put yourself to level 1 if you clock and clock bond, so it's a way to get around stuff like that. And it's also, this is pretty much the main way to get advantage in Shana, or this version of Shana, is these UG clock bonds for those. I'm thinking about adding the ones that bond to the level 2. That's one thing I'm considering about changing, or at least trying out, but yeah, so this clock bonds for that, so you can mulligan them so that they don't just send themselves to waiting room if you open really bad. Next is 4 of this Suicider. This Suicider is good in particular. I think it's really good anyways because it suicides, obviously, and then it's a pay 1, send a level 0 in their front row to waiting room. It's good because it kills runners. Killing runners is good because runners obtain a lot of pluses and are one of the things that a lot of decks want to have are runners. And when you have runners, you definitely play 4 runners. But yeah, that Wilhelmina is good for getting rid of those. So next is 2 of this Fearless. I think that's her name. Pay 1, discard search, just generic search. But this deck wants to set up its level 1 really bad because that's where this deck is at its strongest point, is its level 1 game. So this can help you get things, and yeah, just standard generic 1 search. 2 of this Brainstorm. These type of Brainstorms are my favorite in the game, but since I've always been playing English decks, I haven't gotten the chance to have one of these, so now I'm really happy that I do. Spammable, pay 1, mill 4 for each Climax, add salvage 1 and discard. It really sets up for a lot of things and can help pay out Climaxes out of your hand even. So spammable Brainstorms are good, and it just does a lot of hand fixing, so yeah. And then finally 2 of this Shana. It's 500 in front, tap, get 500. This card has always been an enigma to me. I don't know why this thing is a double R, honestly. It's the double R for yellow, and I'm still confused on that because honestly, Sword Art TD has the same card as this. It's better, like, it's okay in this deck because if you can just play that, play this Shana, and it's a flame character that gives some power, but I don't really use these that much. I'll play them and then I'll move them up front so I can play the better assist, but I play 2. Yeah, level 0s are never really that dead in this deck, and I'll explain that a little later once I get further into my level 1. But yeah, now starting with the level 1, which is Shana's strongest point, and the point you definitely want to get the most advantage at and utilize the most out of. 4 of this Wilhelmina. This card is really good. It is 1/0 4K. It gains 500 for every other flame character, and then has hand encore. So it's a 106k hand encore when you have a full field. So this card is pretty much like the main beater at level 1, I'd say. There's a few other good ones, but this one is my favorite at least. 3 of this Shana. It's just 106k, and when it comes into play, tap a character. That's the downside for being 6k at 1-0, but not too huge of a downside. Really doesn't do much. If you hit one of your assists, that doesn't need to like tap itself or anything. So just a 106k, which is above vanilla power, so it's good. 2 of this Shana. It's a 1-1. If you have experience 2 or higher, it gives all of your other characters 500. So it's an assist, kind of a very small assist that can attack and beat face. So and it also has hand encore. So another thing with hand encore, because a lot of things like to have hand encore in this deck. This deck focuses a lot on like field retention. Just 1 of this Marjorie. She's a cool tech. I don't know if I'd want to take her out or anything, because she does work sometimes against, because some decks, other decks other than Shana have good level 1s, like even Sword Art has like a really good level 1. So this card can help your level 1s get over things they need to. It's just a 104, oh yeah, I should probably say what it does. 104k, and then when it comes into play, you can give another character 2,000. Just give a character 2,000 attack, so it can help you run over things. And then my favorite card in the deck, or what I think is the strongest card anyway, not necessarily my favorite, is 3 of this dude's name I won't pronounce ever because I can't, so we'll call him Old Guy. Yeah, so this guy's really good in my opinion. He's 1-1, 500 in front, and when one of your characters is reversed, you can give one of your characters 1,500 attack. So I usually try to get like 2 of these as fast as possible because I think this card is really strong. And mostly because I don't like any of the other Shana assists. I'd rather have 2 of these than one of this and 1 of this, because personally I don't really like this card that much. I probably wouldn't take that card out, but still. I'd probably try to play another one of these if I could for consistency's sake, but pretty much this card helps keep field retention. If you have 2, sometimes your opponent can only reverse 1 character on their turn, and then they're siding for minuscule amount of damage. And you just have to play less cards from your hand, because Shana doesn't have a lot of ways to plus other than gating and that little UG clock bond, which you don't want to use at higher levels. So this card is really good for just maintaining field advantage. But yeah, that card is really good. And then 1 of this event, Silver Flame. So this card's really good. Pay 1, and then it's an MST basically. Well, I should re-explain that because you might not know what Yu-Gi-Oh is, but when you pay 1 and select a card in their back row, and you kill it. So this can help get rid of cards like the Angel Beat Kanade assist, and just stuff like that, changers and like Madoka and stuff. And if a mirror match, you can kill the Old Guy, stuff like that. So that card's really good. On to level 2s. 2. I'm obviously staring at 3. 3 of this Shana. She's really good. Well, she's good. There's another level 2 I might want to try playing in a different type of build, which is the 2-1 that gets bonded for, that gains 1,500 through the Shana, making her 9k base. Because honestly, she's a 2-1, and I think she's a little better than this card. But this card's good as well. It's a 2-2, which is the only problem I have with it. But with experience 5, it's gains 1,000, so it's 8-5 base, and hand encore with a climax combo that combos with one of the gates that I'll show you on attack salvage. So I don't play this often, but it helps with experience, and yeah, it's not always the worst card. I do play it sometimes if I need pluses, because Shana's a deck that if you don't maintain your field advantage and you start losing hand advantage, it's really hard to come back. But yeah. And then 1 of this backup, it's 2-5 backup, but if you have experience 5, it's plus 1,000, so 3-5 backup. It's just generically good because standard is 3k. And yep, it's a 4-card level 2 engine, nothing too great. But now to get onto Shana's level 3, which honestly, especially in this deck, is nothing to brag about because this is the 8-gate version, which means it's not running the one that combos with the 2K1. So 4 of the TD healer. In the version that's not 8 gates, over this you play the one that can, with combo with the 2K1, can attack twice by burning at silver damage, but honestly, this is better in this variant because this does something rather than just heal. This heals, and then when one of your characters is reversed, it gains 1,000. So if you like ram one of your characters and you have 2 of these, then in 2 Old Man, then you can make them both gain 25, which is pretty cool. But honestly, it's just a heal. This deck's level 3 is nothing to brag about, honestly, and just gets the job done. The level 1 is the true power of the deck. And then last level 3 is 3 of this Shana Toyuji. This card is on play, draw 2, discard. So I guess before refresh, hand fixing. With experience 5, it gains 1500, so 11k base, and the effect that when it reverses the character, pay 1, put it on top of deck. I believe so. We can hope that it does that. Anyway, yes, this is kind of like the game ender. Not really too much of a game ender, honestly. But it is another, it's kind of like a beat stick as well, at another level 3. So yeah. And then onto Climaxes. We got 4 of this gate and 4 of this gate. This is the better gate because it has a combo. This is the one that combos with the 2/2 Shana. And this gate, it just looks cool, so yeah. 8 gates, because Shana does have a problem with advantage sometimes if it can't maintain its field presence. Like if you face a Madoka deck that runs that Kyoko combo at level 1 and it screws your hand encore, you can be pretty messed up all game. So yeah, this was the deck profile. I've only had like 4 times playing with this against Madoka, Sword Art, and Fate Zero. All English decks, which is nothing really to be mentioned, honestly. I didn't play against anything too good. It's just, oh my gosh, that Madoka combo though. So yeah. If you have any opinions on the deck, because I am not a Shana expert so far, I've been playing this a lot more than any of my other decks recently, so I'm going to try to get better with this because I like this deck a lot. It's really enjoyable to play, and I think it's really good, so although I have seen it top like a lot less recently. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Any advice, please leave in the comments. Thumbs up, subscribe. This was Weiss Schwarz 97. Bye, YouTube.